This SUV was once a staple in about every driveway in America, and I'm talking Jeep Cherokee. What's going on, All Terrain Nation? That's right. We've got some news of the Jeep Cherokee that's been out there for a minute, and I wanted to talk about it because the Jeep Cherokee was a staple across America. Like, if you wanted something that felt like a rugged SUV that if your dad you wanted to feel tough and maybe he was a hunter, maybe he needed to take it out and get to those places to go hunting, or if you wanted to take the family into town to a nice restaurant, the Jeep Cherokee was kind of a good balance to that because you had Jeep's ruggedness and then you had, the Range Rover, Land Rover stuff that just were maybe too expensive, but you meet in the middle and you had the Jeep Cherokee. And then once they hit the used market with that unibody construction, lightweight, then you get solid axles front and rear in this thing. And boy, ever. I mean, this thing was a little beast on the trails. And well, Jeep's kind of butchered that heritage with the last two generations of this vehicle. And well, now they are bringing it back. And I'm going to pull this up here and we've got some pictures I'm going to actually show you. This is on Jeep's official website. And here is the Cherokee teaser. And I have to say, the front end of this thing is kind of what I would expect to see. We did know that the Recon, which is their electric version, about the same size vehicle, was going to have those kind of lights like that. And I think it's safe to say that's the direction they're going because you even look at the Grand Wagoneer, you can see that's kind of the direction they're going. But I do like their new take on the grill. I think it looks really cool. And we go a little bit lower there. You can see the old little fog lights blended in. It's weird that one's on, this one's not. But what am I to say what's going on here? But definitely all the aero concerns because, well, these things have to get fuel economy. And I want to go to some from official press photos. As you can see right here, Jeep is definitely relying on that late 80s, early 90s heritage there. Classic for a reason. Yes, definitely. The vehicle has a rich heritage, man. I used to see these things out on the trail, man. Every redneck dude I knew had one of these things in his backyard working on it, making it an off-road beast. And I've seen them done just anything you could do to these things, they've done to it. But I do like, if we just glance real quick here, I want to zoom in real quick. You can see the old 80s style with the classic kind of chrome around it, kind of platinum finish. Definitely they're bringing in those vibes. Of course, when they refreshed it, they went to more of the painted grill of the 90s, which I like quite a bit. But I think they're definitely paying a lot of attention to details. They're like, hey, we want people to get the idea that this is still this is the Cherokee that you remembered, even though I think we know better than that. But let's go to the next photo here, and here is kind of an official picture. These are from Jeep, and it's bigger and taller, maybe a little longer than what we were previously seen in the Cherokee, which is a good thing. Now, this is still sort of a crossover. Don't kid yourself to think that they're going back to the solid axle because they're not. And for good reason, because you need fuel economy and you want something that's rugged, trail ready. That'll be a staple of Jeep that it's got to work actually on the trails. But you also want comfort. And, as someone who's driven Jeeps all across the East Coast, I can say the Wrangler's not the most comfortable thing to ride in. So, mom, dad, whoever wants a kind of a rugged looking vehicle, this is definitely going to fit the bill. And I'm kind of happy for it because the last version in the original, when they brought this thing back out, that weird light system they had, it was just kind of awful, man. For the past 10 years, we just seen ugly Jeeps. But, look at this. We're going to get the big Jeep badge up there. So that's nice. Once again, just like I talked about the grill, definitely some heritage to that. Even the lights kind of, I would have liked seeing, it looks like they're breaking them up ever so slightly. I would have liked to see more of a solid pattern with that, but that's a design choice. And we have this big old bumper up here. You know why that is? Because, well, there's probably going to be a hybrid engine in there, a turbo hybrid, and it's going to need a lot of cooling. And, well, you're going to have all the space for that. And it looks like we're going to have, for safety features, probably sensors everywhere through here. But it definitely gives you some rugged vibes in there. And we kind of go to the back of this thing. You can see the roof racks, and I've got some pictures of the rear of this we'll bring up here and look at. Let's do that. And here's a different version. Of course, it's going to be, once again, trail ready. So it's definitely, they're showing some pictures of it out in the real world, which to me, this looks like a real picture of a vehicle. So I'm glad to see it's not AI rendered. And this vehicle is expected to be on the markets kind of probably late 25, early 26. But you can see some of the safety sensors and stuff up here once again. No real tow hooks. That's kind of a disappointing in this thing. Are you really gonna take this thing? Like, yes, can it do this kind of stuff? Of course it can. Most all-wheel drive vehicles can do this kind of thing. But you need it to look tough. I love the kind of blue with the kind of tuxedo roof up there. That's real nice. Wheels actually don't look bad for what we're seeing either, but I feel like we're missing something here. We're missing that trail rated badge, and it just says Cherokee. And I think what we're missing is I think this is going to be a 4xe only. Yeah, don't kill the messenger here. I think it's definitely going to be a 4xe only. And we look around, this is the back of it. Of course, they're really hiding what's going on back here. You don't really see a tailpipe on this. And you don't see, once again, there's no 4xe badging, just the old four-wheel drive badging. This is a limited trim, as we can see spotted right there. The taillights on this, I actually like those quite a bit, man. They're kind of remind you of a little video game like if it were. But yeah, Jeep badging all over this thing and pretty simple. And it does give you also renegade vibes. The way the fenders they're kind of protruding out a little bit. And I always liked the little renegade, man. Now it sounded like a lawnmower on steroids. Like it was not a pleasant thing for me to hear, but I like that little segment of vehicle, and I would have bought my daughter a Renegade had I found one in a deal. But I think what we're going to see with this thing, I definitely think it's going to be like a little two-cylinder engine in this, little four-cylinder, and it's definitely got to be a hybrid. Unless Jeeps crack the code on somehow getting fuel economy out of just a normal four-cylinder, it's a turbo, so that's going to help. But I really do expect that this thing will be a hybrid. But overall, just from what we know right now, the design nature of this thing, I like it quite a bit. I think they've done a good job. Once again, I think it's classy in all the right places. This big bumper, little off-putting, but guess what? We live in a world full of turbos now, where you're going to have a lot of cooling area. And as long as it's somewhat capable on the trails, if you want to go out on the fire roads like this and take your family camping, I don't see any reason why this won't be a nice staple to the brand. And it's a classic for a reason. They said it, we know it. And I'm curious, what do you guys think of this? Of course, I'm going to break any news I can on this vehicle. There's some spy photos out there, but they really don't show anything other than what you've just seen there, which are official Jeep photos. And I, for one, am pretty excited by this because anytime we can get more rugged things in the off-road world, it's a good win. It's a good win for me, and I'm just happy, and I'm happy to see this thing doesn't look like some spaceship that they did a few years ago because that thing was just awful. You guys know what to do though. In the comments below, leave me one. What do you think of this? Have you owned a Cherokee? I looked for a Cherokee really hard. I wanted a two-door version that they used to do. Could never really find one that wasn't just beat the piss, and they're beat the piss for a reason because, well, people enjoyed these vehicles, and as they should. And third owner, fourth owner, they took them and made them little off-road beasts. And I say, good job, everybody. Have fun with your vehicles, and maybe one day somebody will create a solid axle kit for this thing, and we'll see it on Hell's Revenge. So in the comments below, let me know what you think of this. So whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, or these badass little Cherokees, I hope to drive really soon. It's been your All Terrain Nation. I'm your host, David Boyd, and we're out. Peace, everybody. Love y'all.